Alright, y'all, I just wanted to share this little tidbit of what I'm doing here. I got these 1/4 inch plates to cut 6.5 inches off, and I got about 2 dozen of them to do. So I went ahead and spent the time and made me some mock-ups here. This piece of steel is a little thicker than what I'm working with, and then I got my flat edges so I could just drop it in, butt it up, and I could have a clean line to follow. Let's see. So I've got to cut this skinny section off here, and once that's done, I'll bring it over to this one and cut it in half.
Well guys, the time has come to get some walls on this building. As they said on Game of Thrones, winter's coming. So we got on this a little bit yesterday, and we got a couple of walls up. We got lucky on a purchase of a truck bed a while back, and it came with this door frame. So we're gonna have a walk-through door. This thing is like 40 something inches wide. And what we're going to end up doing, I think we got a 36-inch door, so we're going to have to see if that fits vertically, and if it fits vertically, we're just going to skinny this up to 36. Anyhow, what we had to do, we got our leftover sheet metal pile there, and I don't know if you can see it in the back, but way over there is our cut sheet metal. So what we did, we had a good friend of ours get lucky. They were reskinning a building, so we got some good sheet metal. As with anything, a good deal on anything, it's going to come with a little maintenance that need to be done. So as you can see on the ground right here, we ended up having to cut a little cancer off a few sheets and do a little trimming. But what we did with the purlins is we put a sheet up and we marked center of where the bolt holes are, and that's going to carry us through most of these two walls, I believe. On the back it's going to be a little different. They didn't start with the right leading side on both walls, so we're going to have some sheets that's going to have some cap screws. So anyhow, all we did really here, if y'all remember from the earlier building videos. Let me see if I can get a shot of this. We had a bunch of these tabs that were sticking out of the red I-beams that we did in the roof. So all we did was mark center, actually a little higher than center, because we want to have, you know, the side of the purlin to be center. But anyway, if our measurements are right, we should be able to just set the sheets up and screw them in there. I got Tristan rolling up this morning and Ruby going fuss at him. So, and then when we came here to this side, we went in the boneyard, and you can tell this is all dirty. We got our door frame dug out of the junk pile, and we had to flip this one over, so this one is seat up. That way we can bolt into it right here, and of course we'll be bolting into it in the ground as well once we get it all done. This is just kind of mocked up just to see if that's where we're gonna want it and whatnot. And like I said, same thing over here. We measured from the ground up to the bolt holes, and we got this one upside down, all the rest of them are right side up. So we're going to be working on that for the next day or two and trying to get these purlins all dialed in, and that way we'll be ready to do some sheet metal. As you can see, Ruby's real worried about the sheet metal. You can hear her barking in the background. She knows winter's coming and she wants her doghouse all enclosed and ready for action. All right, we're gonna get on it. Alright, well, the project at hand right now, we got these purlins running the length of this wall right here, and as y'all can see, we in the initial phase of the building, we ran out of steel, big steel, with the 2 bays that we have. Well, we've collected some legs for the next 3 legs. I'm still looking for some bar joists or some purlin, and this will be an outside bay and the rest of this will be inside, but you know, this will have a roof over it. What I'm trying to do is the little forklift, little electric forklift that y'all see us using as a man lift, we need a way to get, you know, it can't work off the slab, but we want to be able to optimize it by having it be able to reach anywhere on the slab. So we found a 8 foot by 5.5 feet or so, I guess, little garage door. So what I'm going to do is right here next to the pole, next to the center beam where we have the maximum height on the roof, we're going to see if we can come down here and frame in a little drive-through door that will be a roll door we can use to come and go in the third bay here, as well as get the forklift over here if we need to do whatever we need to do with the forklift. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm kind of starting to work on this, is kind of developing in my mind. I think I'm going to take another tab like we've welded up in here for these to sit on, and I'm going to come down and put it up in here somewhere, and that'll give me a standoff for a vertical. And then we're going to move over. She's going to be 64 inches wide, 103 inches tall. So we're going to cut that out of some 8-inch open C's that I have. And as you can see, they already have a little bit of a mitered cut to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten these out, and we're going to make our two 103s and our 64 out of some of these these scrap purlins that we got. I kind of needed them because I want to put a lean-to over the back, but we need to get this done first, and we'll order some more purlin for the back later. And meanwhile, we're gonna dive into this and see if we can't make something out of this. All right, we are back on the garage door, or mini garage door framing. This is where I got to. I didn't bother filming cutting all of this. I mean, y'all don't want to watch me run around on time lapse dancing around with a skill saw. So what we did is kind of mock these up, and let me back up a little bit. So we know we're 103 high, and what I did on the tops, you can see we notched them, and we'll weld or screw from the sides. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think we're going to go with a galvanized purlin on the top, rest it up there. We'll line this up when we true it all up on the we'll string line it on the pole. So anyway, that's another side thing, but I think we'll put a tab and weld that up and let it come over to here, and we'll cut this one off where it needs to butt up against there and weld it, and we'll weld the top, and we can weld or run along, that's going to run along the bottom. And I think that'll put our opening in a good spot. So we're going to get on that today. Again, I'm not going to sit here and film a lot of the tedious stuff, but I'll bring y'all back and forth to keep you posted on what we're doing. All right, guys, here is the kind of mocked up door frame. Tristan was welding on the other side, and with the skill saw and all that, I didn't want y'all to have to sit there and watch me dancing around watching a lot of time lapse. But basically, we took some galvanized open C's for the two verticals and a closed C on the top to frame in our 83 by 64 door. And we put some self-tapper screws in at the top, and took a piece of purlin and got the bottom kind of anchored together where we could move it. We had to cut this 7-footer, and we're going to go up and over, and we had to cut this base plate right here. So again, it's all mocked up. We still need to move these in and out a little bit so that we get the walls all plumb and true. And if any of my if any of my terminology is screwed up, just understand I am not a building guy. So we're flying by the seat of our pants, and might not be a good how-to video either, as far as, yeah, we tend to do stuff a little ass backwards and sideways. So we got a extra tab, cut-off tab that we've been welding on for these purlins, kind of like this right here. I'm trying to get y'all out of the sun. And we got it on the top, mocked up, So we're gonna move this in and out, true it up, and then we'll weld that attachment point, this attachment point, and probably one down here. And once we get that done, we'll come over here and either weld or screw these purlin in, and that'll take care of that. As we've been getting these done, we'll take two plumb bobs and we'll hang them over the base angle all the way up at the top. You can see we have a plumb bob right here, and it is clamped all the way up at the base angle. So when you drop that down, that's your plane, and it ends in this little rabbit joint down here at the vertical. So we bring the purlins out to the string, and then we can weld them up. Now this, I think we're welded up except for this doorway. We wanted to leave it because we got some work to do here. So anyway, we again hanging a plumb bob on each end, and you can see that goes all the way up by the ladder, just vice gripped on the base angle up there, and then that gives us an idea where the wall needs to be, and we bring it out. All right, guys, good morning. This is going to be a little eventful day, I think. We were doing some test fitting. We framed our frame in my measurements, and I said, you know, we might want to eyeball the way the door panels are going to fit in our little skinny forklift door here. So that looks like that'll probably work good. On purlins, we siliconed them down, and we put some 3/8 wedge anchors in the concrete to hold them down, give us some base angle. And we're doing them with purlin so that we can have an inner and outer wall here. We'll put some inner wall, we can hang some tools up. Again, out here we still don't have, well, we've got the legs, the 3 legs we need for the wing. I need to pick up some bar joist or some purlin, and we have the sheet metal. So eventually this will be pretty much an interior wall, although this third bay is going to stay probably open or maybe a half wall. I don't know what we're going to end up doing with that, but we kind of maybe keep our dirty work in here, like pressure washing, grinding, a lot of stuff that makes a big mess, and keep it out the shop. So we've been we got a couple of, we got this purlin here that's going to go here. We stopped because we didn't want to open a half a tube of silicone and let it dry on us. You can see over here we kind of test fitted some sheets the other day, and what we're trying to do is just confirm that where our man door is going to be. Let me come around here. Good morning, guys. Look, Miss Ruby and Miss Blue. You're playing around in the dirt this morning. All right, so we got these sheets up. These are miter cut, and we're going to get to a spot here in the center where we're not going to have a, you know, we're going to have to kind of fit them square because sheets are going to be not tall enough or whatever. But the issue I'm having right here is I grabbed a couple of sheets not thinking about it, and I just started with the underlap, I call it, right here, and the overlap being on the right. Well, the building these sheets came off of, some of the sheets were set up like that, and some of the sheets were set up backwards. So we put our purlins at 86 5/8 and 144 5/8 to try and reuse as many of the old holes as we can. And you can kind of see the other people that did the 10 kind of were, I don't know, 3 sheets to the wind when they put some of these screws in. It's not exactly a straight line. So anyhow, we're trying to do our frame for our man door over here, and what I'd like to do is have the sheets end on a valley like this and not up on a hump, and that way we can go right to the door jamb. And this kind of came out pretty cool. We had this metal door frame. It was 48 by 7 foot, so we skinnied it up and made it to fit the 36-inch door. We had to drop it down because you know, actually our purlin location would have been fine we framed it in before we double checked the door. So we actually put this galvanized C-purlin in there. We recessed the white purlin or white door jamb trim, and we have that centerpiece where it can telescope out. And once we get the door all plumb and where we want it, we'll put some screws in there and, you know, adjust it down to the door. So that kind of came out pretty neat. But today we're going to try and see if we can't figure out, either we're going to continue on from these sheets over to see if we need to shift our door. But yesterday we were running into some of the sheets were, you know, right hand or left hand sheets. Let's just call them like that. So I want to get some sheets up over here, and we'll miter cut a couple of them, and then we'll have a couple of fits. So once we get to 4 sheets, we'll find out where our door fits, see if we need to move this door, you know, a few inches one way or the other to facilitate being on the ribs or not being on the ribs. And once we know that this door is good, we're just going to sheet this whole wall. And we already got this stack of sheets for the back wall. Shouldn't be any trouble there. Just run down the wall, and if there, you know, whatever's left over, we'll cut it off. And then we'll see. I think I have enough sheets cut on the trailer to run down that back wall along the bayou side up to the roll door. We might be able to go the whole thing. I don't know. We're gonna play it by ear and see how it goes. It's time to get some work done, so let's get it. Well, guys, we are making some headway here, minus my little goof up right there that needs to be filled in. We're working on that. We got our door set up. We got to get a deadbolt and some other things here, and we're going to do some other trim. But reason we haven't been putting up any videos in the past couple weeks is we've been fiddling with walls. So winter is coming, and we need to get this thing a little more winter tight. It's been nice to have it open air so the heat can't build up, but as you can see, we got all of our equipment piled up in the center of the shop, and that is so the little forklift slash man basket has been able to get around and get some work done. But we got the walls most of the way up. We still got trim and some finishing stuff to do, but it's coming. So I'm gonna take the forklift today and kind of reorganize, move some of this stuff around that's not already on wheels. We're gonna take this old compressor and get it over here by the wall. The big press we're gonna put over here. Just, you know, kind of fill in some spots right here where it's kind of out of the weather. And I want to set up over here where we can start building our doors for the 3 bays, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. That's going to be a butt kicker and a head scratcher, I'm sure. But we need to get the shop back organized to be able to handle some truck business and get those going again. Yeah. So let me get over here. Lord, the sun is bright today. So we got this side of the building, but we still have this slab. So we got 18 feet of slab coming out. We've got legs that are gonna go in this corner, in the middle, just like we did the rest of the building. We've got new sheet metal underneath the old sheet, you know, under an old sheet to protect it. Our little garage door pieces over there. Iron pieces on the side of the tool truck over there. So we're gonna, while the weather's cool, we're gonna start working on getting this other bay done, but we're not going to get into that until we get into the bay doors. I want to get the building all closed in and secured first, and then we're going to start on the 3rd wing. But I just wanted to kind of get you guys caught up on the building. And again, I've got some footage of this, but you know, we did the welding of the purlins. We got our the tin, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Stand it up, screw it in, and